What up, NBA family? It's your boy Dtlf back with another video, man. You guys decided to show up for the right episode because we got plenty to talk about. A lot of things going on, around the league just a couple of weeks before the actual preseason starts. So definitely got a lot of things to talk about. I'm glad you guys have tuning in, man. We're gonna talk about the Pistons trade. We're gonna talk about the Boston Celtics situation with the head coach. We're gonna talk about the NBA new age limit. We're going to talk about the new trade rumor with the Lakers and all that good stuff, man. But let's get it cracking. What's up, Max? What's up, Vitali? All right. Let's start it off with the report of the day, man. The breaking news that happened today. The Pistons acquire Bojan Bogdanovic from the Jazz. Again, a move nobody saw coming, all right? Utah continues to revamp its roster by reportedly sending Bojan Bogdanovic to Detroit Pistons for Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee. Oh, wait a minute. Let's rewind that back a little bit. Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee. What? Oh my goodness. What's up, Laker girl? What's up, Aaron? Okay, so I thought they wanted a first round pick, but I guess that just applies to the Lakers, right? Either all the reporters were lying, or there is a Laker tax here. All right, I do want to talk about that a little bit. Now, what does that have to do with? Does that have to do with Rob Pelinka being an ex-agent and nobody likes him? Does it have to do with Clutch? And the fact that they monopolize a lot of free agency and nobody likes them? Or does it have to be just the Laker jealousy, the Laker tax that everybody can't stand because we continue to win? What do you guys think in the chat? I think it's a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. Randolph, thanks, man. Thanks so much for super chat, bro. He said, how does any food cheat on Neil Long? Shake my head. I feel you, man. Listen, man, it's crazy, right? But how does anybody cheat, period? All right. But my thing is, yes, you're right. I mean, it's crazy to think that a head coach in the NBA, and I will get into that in a little bit. My man transitioned real quick to that. I love the comment, bro. Thanks so much for tapping in. I'm going to get into that whole situation and my thoughts on that in just a minute. But, to continue on about this Laker tax. This Laker tax is real no matter how anybody twists it and chops it up. Listen, the Lakers have been under this Laker tax for a while. Matter of fact, if you guys remember when we completed the trade for Chris Paul, basketball reasons happened. That in itself is Laker tax because it ended up costing us future competitive teams, right? That's championships that it cost. That was the ultimate Laker tax. But ever since then, like the last good trade we did was Pau Gasol. That was a fair trade, right? Expiring contracts and a couple picks for an all-star that helped us win championships. That was the last one. Yeah, but the Laker tax is real, guys. Look, the Pistons, I don't see why they acquired Bojan, other than the fact that he's a good shooter and they could add a veteran around the young pieces. So you got to love that for them, right? For them, it was a solid trade because of that. However, again, nobody saw that trade. If you guys told me that we're going to wake up today and that Bojan Bogdanovic would be traded, the Detroit Pistons were the last team on that list. Although, if you're a Piston fan, if you're watching, you're a Piston fan, it was a good trade for you guys, whether you keep them or it was just a salary dumping move and maybe you get another asset. Whatever the case may be, it was a good trade for you guys. All you had to give up was Kelly Olynyk, who's a very solid player, but he's by no means is he Bojan Bogdanovic and some other no-name player. So that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, you guys traded Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee, who really hasn't made his mark around the league, for Bogdanovic, an 18-point per game scorer. You got a couple nice rookies, over there in Detroit, and now you're talking that team is looking solid, at least to be fun to watch during the regular season. Not sure about the postseason. Although, and I do want to transition away to the Boston Celtics, man. This was crazy. This is something, and my man Randolph here brought it up. Nobody expected this from the Celtics, from Ime Udoka, right? I think that's his name. Or Udo or something like that. Ime Udo, I think the head coach's name. Ime Udoka. I was right. So basically, if you guys haven't heard it, you've been living under a rock. The Boston Celtics coach, Ime Udoka, is likely facing suspension for the entire 2022-23 season for his role in an intimate relationship with a female member of the franchise staff. Sources told ESPN Thursday. All right. The jokes were they were off the charts when this happened yesterday. All right. And Chris Mannix reports Thursday afternoon that Udoka was actually considering resigning from his head coach position, impending suspension. But after considering stepping down, Udoka has now reportedly decided to remain as a Celtics coach and not resign from his position. So, wow. I mean, that is mind-blowing, and it landed right in time for Around the League Thursdays. So I did want to talk to you guys about that. And I know everybody's saying, what my man Randolph right here is echoing, right? But I say, listen, man, you're a professional. You would think that somebody of his stature that is getting a golden opportunity to coach would be focused on exactly that, right? And I haven't really read into the details too much. I don't really like to be nosy off of people's off-life stuff because to a certain extent, it doesn't really have to do with basketball. So I suggest we all stay out of their affairs and stop Googling images of who potentially he had this affair with and all that, because that actually you're putting dirt on people's name and we don't even know the details, right? So it's none of our business in a sense, but I'm mind blown that all this has happened in a week where Doc Rivers, an ex-Celtics coach, you saw what happened with him liking tweets and stuff like that. So wow, what a crazy week it's been for the NBA. I do want to hear you guys' takes on the whole, Udoka versus Mia Long. It's one of those things, man, where it's crazy. That's life sometimes, but wow, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. Nia Long is 51 years old. She's old. That has nothing to do with it, man. At the end of the day, we're all gonna get old, and it's all about respect, man. That was his fiance, brother. What do you mean? Like, are you trying to justify a man cheating? Listen, I'm not here to talk about cheating. I'm here to talk basketball and the NBA. However, you can't I don't care if she's 91 years old. If that was his fiance, bro, that's a mistake on his part, but that's between him and God. He said, I thought the Lakers were going to get that Utah player. Unfortunately, no, there is such a thing called the Laker tax. My thing is, and this is what I wanted to talk about. Right? The whole Boston Celtics situation. Now the East is wide open because the Celtics, think about this. The Celtics, that's a huge distraction for their franchise. That's the main point I wanted to make. I'm not trying here to talk about the cheating or none of that, but the main point is, wow, like they just went to the finals, and now good luck getting deep into the playoffs again with another head coach, an interim head coach per se. I'm shocked, he still has his job after all this distraction. But the fact that he was even brought to the public, you would have thought that it would be addressed behind closed doors. It must have been such a scandalous thing. And still trying to wrap my head around that whole situation. But it's sad. You never want to judge anybody. We don't know all the details. But at the end of the day, look, that is a distraction for the team. And let's see what happens with Boston. Boston now has to move on from that. And they have to try to, they try to match their success from last year. If not, guess what? Those Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown trade rumblings might get a little bit louder. That's really my take on that whole situation. Shout out to Joseph, man. Thanks for the cash out. Bro said, for no way we go into the season with such guards. I will talk about the guards in just one bit, man. But it is Around the League Thursday, so I do want to address what is currently relevant first, and then we get into the rest. He said, Dan, I see the Lakers starting out 0-8. LeBron will drop 50, and they'll beat Cleveland. Man, look, man, listen, I don't want to do any speculation. I want to see the product we have on the floor first. That's all I'm going to say about that, right? Now, as far as this whole coaching situation, who's going to step up and be an interim coach? Who even wants that job? Who wants Ime Udoka's interim head coaching job, right? That's a huge scandal, by the way. But listen, that's neither here or there. Bottom line is their privacy was put on full display, and it's sad for both parties, to be honest with you, especially for her. I see the Lakers. I already read that. Can we release Russ at the trade deadline? They can release Russ, but they're going to have to buy him out and split his money up. That's what they're going to have to do. Exactly, Iron Mike. I'm right there with you, bro. Dontario Moore says, what up, bro? Cheating to me is a slap in the face to your mate and relationship that you built. Number 2, are you on board with the Spurs package? I'm going to address number 2 because like my boy Iron Mike said, we should move on from their topic, man. That's their private situation, but I do agree with you with take number 1, brother. Am I on board with the Spurs package? And I'm glad you guys are jumping to my next topics because I had those lined up anyways. If you guys haven't heard, the Spurs are reportedly interested in Russell Westbrook trade package centered around Josh Richardson, Jacob Pirtle. I don't even want to say his Pirtle. I'm going to say Pirtle. Jacob Pirtle. I think that's what they call him. And Doug McDermott. So basically, Russell Westbrook and 2 picks is what is rumored that they want for Josh Richardson, Jacob Pirtle, and Doug McDermott. The only way I'm doing that is if there's heavy protection on our picks. All right, 2 picks. 2 picks are still very much highly touted. in this league. 3 picks got us Donovan Mitchell. 2 picks, if we can put protection, I'm cool with that. If they want him unprotected, that's a hell no for me, because it seems like the trade packages keep getting worse and worse and worse. It's like, okay, we couldn't do them with the Jazz. Now we're trying to get fleeced by the Spurs. So as long as those picks are involved, no way. But if it's only 1 protected pick and a couple of seconds, then maybe that's something I consider, because you get Josh Richardson, a solid wing. You get a good big in Jacob Poeltl, if that even is his name, and Josh Richardson, like I said, that's not bad at all. But again, everybody's trying to rip us off. I think we're starting to see that LeBron James had his player mini camp started today, and images have already surfaced on the web of him and Russell Westbrook. It's starting to look like we're starting the season with this team, unfortunately, guys. So as far as the trade negotiations, I would be shocked if preseason starts and Russ is not on the roster right now, unfortunately. That's what I think about the package. Thanks so much for a super chat, though, bro. All right. Any questions? He said Genie Bus is not going to do that. The Russ, the 15-man. Spurs need a player like Russ. I mean, if they want to sell tickets, sure, and they want to tank, it's a win-win, right? He said, let them give us a pick for Westbrook. Man, in a perfect world, yes. Other teams probably would have got away with that because there are other teams. But we're the Lakers. That Laker tax is real. I don't care what nobody says. That Laker tax is real, and we've been seeing that for a while, man. We've been seeing that Laker tax for a while, for a long time. But again, and we saw it today with the Pistons acquisition of Bogdanović. The Jazz supposedly wanted 2 first-round picks from us. They didn't get a single one from the Pistons. So that doesn't confirm to you that Laker tax is real. It's real. It says real as Holyfield's ear getting chewed off by Mike Tyson. That's how real it is. That's how real it is. He said, what happens if Ugly Green should stay in Ugly Green? Wait, what? Oh, we're talking about Boston? Oh, yeah. No, we're past that topic already. I just had to bring it up because it shocked my mind that the news got out there. You would think they would protect their own players in their organization and keep that stuff private. No, these guys not only aired it out to dry, but they're also suspending the man. Like, I guess they have their own team policies or whatnot, but it's crazy to see the way they're dealing with it. My Lakers would never. All right, we try to keep stuff in-house, and even then some stuff leaks out. We've had Hollywood drama, but they literally just aired them out to dry, and I think it's very interesting. All right, really quick update, guys. This year is a special year because we are retiring a couple of jerseys. You guys already knew about Pau Gasol, but we're also retiring 5-time champion, All-Star, and MVP George Mikan. All right, we're talking about one of the first original Laker All-Stars, or should I say superstar? I should say superstar. 5-time champion, who sometimes their championships get overlooked because it was in the black and white era, black and white TVs. But listen, it's still Laker greatness, even though it was in Minneapolis, and I'm very happy. It's overdue. Anytime anybody who's a 5-time champion, ex-Laker, deserves to get their jersey retired. So very happy to announce that. I thought I'd bring that update to you guys real quick. Also, another update. Yes, we heard training camp just started. Well, Jesse Buss believes Max Christie can develop into a good long-term player for the Lakers. I want to know, what do you guys think of Max Christie? People were very split on him. So I do want to know what's up with that. Mama Mattai, thanks for the super chat, brother. He said, hate to see the trade, but funny to see Ainge take an L. A trade with just Russ, former All-Star MVP, and free more cap space plus picks is way better than whatever they will get. He said, take a fat L, Ainge. You're right about that. And I didn't think about it in that, as far as that goes. I didn't think about it from that point of view. So you're absolutely right. Danny Ainge ends up taking an L just because he let his ego get in the way. And that's unfortunate. See, when people don't deal in good faith, unfortunately, you end up shooting yourself in the foot sometimes. And that's what happened with the ex-Pelicans GM who got fired. And the new one got hired and actually executed the trade with the Lakers, and ended up helping them because they also got better with Brandon Ingram, guys like that, and draft picks. And so sometimes it's in your best interest to just make the deal and put your ego to the side. Danny Ainge will learn that the hard way if he continues to deal in bad faith like this, man. So that's that. Derek says Rob needs to go, Dan. I agree if we don't make the postseason this year. If we don't make the postseason and make a run, I agree. My boy said the infamous Mamba mentality. What do you mean infamous? You mean the very famous Mamba mentality. Kelly Olynyk over the Lakers package. Yeah, that is crazy, Divine Justice. That is nuts if we think about that like that. So we are stuck with Russ, which equates to 20 losses, depending on head coach. And we talked about this. I was doing a Spaces earlier today, and shout out to Tara. She was my co-host as well. We talked about this already, man. And let's wait and see what we got before we start putting expectations. She says, "Sorry, I'm late. Did you talk about the Spurs trade?" Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, but we didn't go too much in depth into that trade. Now, from what you're hearing, Tara, what do you think? They want the 2 first-round picks for sure, right? I'm pretty sure they do. So I still think that's too much. However, if we can put protections on a pick, then I'm cool with it. Because the Spurs package, I mean, they're giving us Josh Richardson is probably the most usable player we'll have there. Dougie McBuckets he's a shooter, right? But he's not really a defender per se. And Jacob Pertl is a decent player, but he's like a rich man's Chris Mim. So I'm not like head over heels over him. If we're going to give up the 2 first-round picks and gun pointed to the head, I'd much rather do the Indiana Pacer deal if we have to give up the picks for these guys, right? Just my personal opinion. What do you guys think? What do you think, Tara? I would love to know. He said, "Let's go Lakers. I'm hyped for this season. LeBron in his 20th season, AD, and Russell Westbrook." He said, "Carrying us to banner 18. Let's go." My man Leanne has been playing a lot of 2K lately. No, I'm just playing. I hope that's true, man. I really hope that can happen. But it sounds a little comical when you say Russell Westbrook carrying us. As long as he doesn't get in the way, I'd be happy, right? Dan, will there be more trades available for Russ if we hold on to him till the deadline? I do believe so, Max. I think more things open up. Like I mentioned earlier in Spaces again. Listen, at the end of the day, right now, most teams are happy with their product they put together in the offseason. Now, there's still plenty of free agents to be had. But most teams are actually happy with their product. And, they're not looking to trade right now. So that's why the market is kind of dry, unless you're a tanking team and you kind of want to fleece the Lakers for their draft picks. But outside of that, I do think there will be more options as we near the trade deadline. Maybe around December, January, February. Maybe there will be more teams that are sellers instead of buyers. And maybe you get away with trading away Russ and not having to give up too many draft picks because it's only a half-year rental at that point, right? He said, "Turner and Hield, bring it." He said, Turner and AD would be killers together. Yeah, they would. They would, for sure, if they're healthy. If they're healthy, I think that's a great fit, to be honest with you. He said, "At this point, the only deal that's worth 2 picks unprotected is the Indy package." I'm not even sure that one's worth 2 picks unprotected because of the health concerns I have as well, bro. But we already kind of discussed that. But, let's just agree to disagree there. But I will say I much prefer that package. If we're going to give up both of the picks, I prefer that one, even though it's a high gamble, than the Spurs one, personally. He said, "I am with you, Dan. We can't give the Spurs 2 picks." Yeah, that's too much. Those are good role players, but that's all they are at the end of the day. Miles Turner is the closest thing to an all-star, if we're being real. But even Kyrie Irving, they were holding out. So I'm not sure if the Lakers will do that deal. But again, training camp started already unofficially, right? Because the players started one early today in San Diego, led by LeBron. And so we'll see what happens there. But I'm starting to think this is really the roster, at least to start opening night. Celtics should fire the head coach. Oh, I'm not sure if it's a fireable offense. But again, look, that's more personal for them. Like, that's between him and his fiance more than anything. But since something did happen at work, I can see why you have that stance as far as that goes. I wouldn't give up the picks for that trade. I agree. I absolutely agree. See, Tara knows what's up. Great minds think alike. Yes. Can't give up the picks for that trade if we didn't give them up for Indiana. And prior to that, we didn't give them up to the Jazz or to the Brooklyn Nets for Kyrie, assuming that was even a real rumor. Right? But it still hurt. It hurts. It hurts because, obviously everybody else is getting good deals. You saw what the Detroit Pistons got. I mean, that was a fleece. Let's be real. Kelly Olynyk is the main piece you have to give up with no picks attached for a Bogdanovich. Whatever happened to the reports that they feel that they can get a first-round pick for every player? See, everybody's trying to rip us off, Laker Nation. He said LeBron, Russ, and AD only played 28 games last year, and people say get rid of Russ. The Lakers couldn't stay healthy all last year. It's not given that LeBron and AD are going to be healthy. Russ was not. I think 28 games of that sample size was more than enough for people to have the right to say they want Russ gone. However, hopefully he proves us wrong, man. That's all. Hopefully he proves us wrong and he comes in and he does his thing, but without doing his thing. If you get what I'm saying, like basically we need him to buy in, forget about the stats, and play winning brand of basketball. The main thing here is taking care of the ball and not taking ill-advised shots. Right? We don't need transition threes early in the shot clock from Russ. We do not need hero ball fourth quarter. 1 for 15 3-point shots. When you have LeBron and AD and other options there, especially if you're not having a good game. So again, he needs to be much more intelligent and pick his spots. And I think if Darvin Ham lives up to the hype, he'll make sure that he enforces that. Like if Russ makes boneheaded plays, I hope he pulls them out ASAP. My boy said fat L for Danny Ainge. Yes, sir. He stays taking L's. He thinks he's the hot stuff right now because he got so much for Rudy Gobert. But I do believe that, the Timberwolves were on something when they made that deal, because that one's out of pocket as heck, man. There's no way that should have been done, right? That trade right there was crazy. At the end of the day, look, I'm not looking at other teams. I'm only focused on us. But all right, I do want to talk about one thing here. Switching topics real quick. This is around the league, so we do got to talk about this. The NBA is expected to undo the rule that has been placed since 2005, lowering the age limit for the NBA draft from 19 to 18, according to sources with knowledge of the discussions, right? It says the NBA and NBA Players Association can amend this rule as soon as 2024. So a lot of people have been speculating about Bronny and all that. Well, if we can't amend this rule till 2024, then that's irrelevant, because Bronny technically would have been eligible to enter the draft next year if that rule was already amended. So Bronny's still going to have to play one more year. Is he in high school or college? I'm not sure. I think he's going to have to play at least 1 year in college. But look, I think it's a good and a bad thing for the NBA. Let me tell you why. The good news is that now players can jump to the next level in order to support their family. There's a lot of players that can't afford to spend an extra year in college, and because they need to provide for the family. Not everybody comes from good beginnings. Some of us come from humble beginnings. Some of us come from lower places. Not lower place. I shouldn't say lower is the word, but we come from poverty, right? And so as a result, some of these kids, they have this sense of urgency and they want to make that leap to be able to provide for their family. So in that sense, it's good, right? The sense that is bad is that sometimes these players are not ready, and when they take that leap too early, they don't get that 1 year college under their belt. They end up being not NBA ready, and sometimes they don't get the opportunities ever again. They end up getting tossed around like, I'm not going to say it. All right, I'll say it. They end up getting tossed around like a Kardashian in the NBA, right? Basically, everybody's dating them, right? So you don't want that for high school players, man. You don't want that for high school players. You want them to come in hopefully with a better understanding of the game, and that way they can stick for many years to come. So again, to every one of these decisions, there's things to think about, but I do find it incredibly interesting that, you might be able to get more steals from the draft this way, because all of a sudden 18-year-olds can come in and people that were under the radar can get drafted, and maybe the Lakers will make a killing with this new rule. Maybe the Lakers will start, reaching for more underdeveloped talent that they can utilize and develop and eventually play. And to that point, Jesse Buss believes that our rookie, Max Christie, can develop into a good player long-term. So like I told you guys, they drafted him for the long-term, not for the short-term. So don't expect to see him this year, maybe a little bit next year, unless he makes a giant leap. But he's more of a long-term project. So let's take it easy on the rookie this year, yeah? He said, I just don't understand what Rob is doing and why he doesn't actually go for players that we need. He said, we have no true wings. Well, Patrick Beverley going to guard Kawhi? I agree, Ricky. Listen, that's been the most confusing part about the Lakers front office this offseason, is that we don't seem to have a true direction. It's almost like we're saying, let's just take whatever's available, the best player available. That's what it seems like. Patrick Beverley was available. He wanted to be a Laker. They took him, right? And we needed defense last year, so they probably were like, let's take the best player available. They took Patrick. Same thing happened in free agency. It looked like the best player on paper available was Dennis. Not that he fits our needs, but that's the one they took as soon as he was killing overseas, right, when he was playing for his national team. So, again, it looks like Rob is going more for, best available on the board, and we'll figure everything out later, rather than what we actually need. And that's what has confused a lot of us fans, and we're like scrambling like chickens with our head cut off, just trying to look for some sort of a sign. And now you see Russell Westbrook and LeBron, and more people are going to be pissed off because they're like, what the heck? After all the little drama in Summer League when it looked like they were sitting apart and all this extra stuff, all of a sudden now they're buddies again. But again, the NBA is a buddy league, so nothing shocks me. 1 minute they're fighting on social media, on Twitter, and the next minute they're pals, just like John Moran and Draymond Green. And that is what a lot of us old heads, that is what a lot of us old heads, we end up kind of criticizing the younger players for, because they get along so well. And it's a business at the end of the day. As long as they're all winning and getting that paper, everybody's happy. But the fans are not happy because we want that competitiveness. We want that edge. We want players to go after each other night in and night out. And so, there has to be a balance there. So what is a slasher, and can we give an example? What is a slasher? There's a ton of it. LeBron is a slasher. That's the ultimate example, right? That is definitely a slasher. Vince Carter was a slasher. I mean, John Morant, I see him kind of like a slasher. I mean, the list goes on and on. A slasher, somebody who primary skill, I want to say skill set, but the primary thing they like to do is attack the basket. That's their strength. That's a slasher to me. Everything else comes secondary. Like Iguodala in his prime was a slasher, right? He could knock down shots from time to time, but he wasn't looking for those shots. He was looking to get to the basket, maybe play, make, wreak some havoc. So that's a slasher, man. He said, I'm just saying, with all these guards, he has to make some kind of a trade, Russ, to get us some 3-and-D wings, or we're going to get smoked. To be determined. I still want to see how this team comes out and performs. I'm not going to say, listen, a lot of people expect this to be the same results as last year because we have Russ, but we also have to be objective here and factor in different things. Different head coach, most likely way more capable head coach who can get us into our offensive sets and defensive sets and actually call plays out of timeouts that work and put in the right rotations and pull out the players when they're not working and stuff like that. Coaching is huge in the NBA. That's why I say he has been our biggest acquisition this offseason, in my opinion, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is we got younger. We were extremely old last season. So we're going to look a lot. Listen, naturally, we're going to look a lot different just by the fact that we got younger. You add the coach and his schemes, and hopefully, him being able to command the locker room and have a good game plan to execute every game night in and night out. Now you're talking, crazy. And if LeBron and AD can be on the same page and stay healthy all season long, I do have big expectations for us. However, obviously the elephant in the room is Russell Westbrook because he was a huge part of the problem last year. But remember, we do have to factor in other things as well. Like I've always told you guys this, I don't like it when we blame one person completely because this is a team sport thing. However, Russell Westbrook is kind of an exception because he was just such a presence, and not in a good way, right? It wasn't like he was a friendly presence in the locker room last year. He was kind of like an egotistical player who was more focused on himself last year. And that's something nobody who's a real Laker fan, I'm not talking about player fan, I'm talking about the real Laker fans been here since day one, 10 plus years, 20 plus years, so on and so forth. We don't like to see that stuff. We don't like it. That's, that ego shit is what killed Kobe and Shaq. And they were we're talking about prime Kobe and Shaq. And that's what separated them. So we don't ever want to see that again, ever. The evening, Dan the man, we will surprise some folks this year. I hope so, Roy. I'm trying to stay positive, brother, but we have to be realistic as well. There's two sides to this team, man. One side is we could surprise folks, and hopefully we do. Hopefully that's what happens. And the coaching staff could really be on their grind and come out here and make Laker fans really happy, or everything we already expect to happen could happen, where we unravel. We got too many egos, too many guards, not enough wings. The coaching staff can't, command the locker room like we want it. I mean, the perfect storm could occur as well. So we just have to stay open-minded, anticipate the worst and hope for the best. That's how I feel about that. But back to the age limit thing. Do you guys really like that whole age limit thing? That's what I want to know. That's what I really want to know. The age limit. Do you guys like it being the 19 years age limit being removed and now 18-year-olds can come into the league, or do you guys think it's a bad thing for the NBA? And how can our teams like the Lakers benefit from it? He said age is just a number. Come on, Jason. You know what I mean, bro. The Westbrook problem was the media. There was more. It was more than just the media. Westbrook's problem is still thinking that he's gonna be MVP. Russ, exactly. Self-awareness. I agree, Pete. He needs to wake up because that ain't gonna fly here. Not with this team. He's like, I don't mind it at all. You're talking about the age limit? All right, that's fair. I don't know what type of game Pelinka is playing. Do something better, bum. Oh my goodness. The GM is pissed off. But I mean, the name is self-explanatory. I wouldn't expect anything else from a LeBron fan. Of course, you guys are desperate. LeBron is getting older. I get it. But at the end of the day, we have to do what's right for the franchise moving forward, including LeBron James. I'm sure LeBron is on board. If not, he wouldn't have re-signed that contract. No way. Camille says the only way it works is if Darvin Ham is willing to bring Russ off the bench and sit him when he's breaking balls off the backboard, which will be hard because Russ's large ego. Agreed. I agree. I think Russ off the bench might work if he becomes the primary focal point and he's happy, and then maybe if he's playing good, he might have a chance to close games, but not likely. I love the age limit being reduced because it gives more chances for upcoming prospects. That is true, and it makes the NBA draft that much more intriguing if you can get guys overseas that are young, that maybe haven't proven themselves yet and might be able to shine. I think teams like our Lakers definitely benefit from this because we don't always have the highest draft picks. And so when you get underdeveloped talent, sometimes it pans out. Sometimes we've seen it before pan out. Seen Kobe Bryant do it, right? We've seen Kevin Garnett do it. We've seen LeBron James do it. There has been mega stars coming out of the draft. Some went under the radar and some didn't. But there is a chance that, you can get one of these players that everybody's sleeping on and you can catch teams slipping and get yourself at least a nice role player from the draft. He said, Dan, when you play basketball, are you a slasher or a spot-up shooter? A little bit of both. I'm not a spot-up shooter. I'm a playmaker, man. I like to think I'm a point guard. All right? I like to play a lot of pick and rolls. What's funny? A lot of people don't know how to defend the pick and roll. They think it's old school, right? Because everybody likes to ISO, dribble, pull up. But me and my brother kill it, man. We're like Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer. I'm Darren Williams, of course. And so that's my style of play. D Wills, take over, pull up. I can shoot, score, attack the rim when I can. Hit them with a little bit of jelly. I got a nice finger roll, nice little repertoire around the basket. I can finish. I'm deceptively quick and deceptively athletic at this point in my age. So I just like to mix it up, man. I'm a point guard. That's what I do. And people love playing with me because I get them the ball in positions to score. So anybody that's played with me before, they know they're going to get the ball. If they get open, if they cut, if they do the right things, they spot up to their places. So, yeah, I like to be on ball. Matter of fact, I've played with people that don't know my game at all, and they expect me to spot up, and I become, basically – because I don't demand the ball. I like to see how people play. And so basically, like for the first game, I become irrelevant because I'm just spotting up somewhere and that's not my game. So yeah, that's the way I play, bro, to be honest with you. And the second game, then I start demanding the ball. I start coming up to the full court line to get it, if they didn't pass it to me because they didn't know my game or whatever. And so that's how and I start getting them involved and all of a sudden we start winning. So that's the way we need to do. But it's all fun and games, man. My man said, sounds like Pelinka needs to sign Dan. No, they don't need another point guard. No more point guards. Especially no out-of-shape point guards, bro. I'm still not in the shape where I want to be. He said, if anyone is going to take Westbrook, we got to give up 2 firsts, especially for Turner and Hield. That's a good deal. Well, debatable, Manny. That's debatable because, again, you're risking a lot. You're risking a lot. If you're trading Miles Turner, you are risking a lot, my friend, for Miles Turner because do your research. Look at his injury history. He's been injured a lot recently. And that hairline fracture thing he had on his foot, I think that's what it was. That's an injury that can re-aggravate itself. It could flare up and can keep him out for a huge chunk of the season, God forbid, the postseason. And on top of that, he's on an expiring deal, which means he could become an unrestricted free agent and either force you to overpay for an injured guy or he's going to walk and leave you with nothing. Now you're left with just Buddy Hield for your 2 first-draft picks. So it's debatable whether that's a good deal or not. We really won't know unless the deal is made and then we see how it works out. But on paper, I can see why you say it's good because, Patrick Beverley, Buddy Hield, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Miles Turner, I don't know too many teams that want to see that lineup if healthy and everything Let's assume everything gels, because remember, anytime you make a trade or you add new players, new coaching staff, it's going to be an adjustment period. So I don't expect players just to come together and win 20 games in a row during the regular season if a trade is made, right? There's going to be some losses that we don't feel we deserve, and there's going to be some wins that we're like, we overachieved in. So at the end of the day, to be determined on if that would be a good trade. But you're right about one thing. Out of the trades that are available, that would probably be my favorite one, assuming we add some sort of protection on one of those 2 picks. My man Doron says, our team is younger, a great coach. Well, we don't know that yet. He's not proven yet. He has never been a head coach in this league. He's always been an assistant. But we hope that he is a great coach. So he looks great so far. We'll see. But my man said, younger, a new great coach. And as long as we have LeBron James and AD healthy, we got to punch his chance, even with Westbrook still part of it. Okay, well, my only thing is this, man. LeBron is older, right? So he's going to miss some games. Who's going to step up? That's when we need Russell to really step up and play really good, or anybody who's going to be third fiddle to these guys. That's a step up, and this is what we mean by when we traded for a star. We're hoping somebody could take some of the load off of LeBron James, right? You see my point there? So if Russ can step up when LeBron goes, out of action, or let's just say AD, resting for whatever reason, that's when we really need those other players like Russ especially to step up. If he can do that, that would be great. But last season, he didn't really do that. Whenever he was in a lineup with one of the other 2 stars, he didn't really shine. He didn't play efficiency basketball. To be honest with you, the best basketball he played was when both LeBron and AD went missing, which means he might be better suited, like Homegirl said earlier, Camille. He might be better suited coming off the bench where he becomes one of the main primary focal points. And now he can play, what he says, Russ basketball. He said, one thing I love about LeBron fans is they want to win. It fits with the Laker culture. Oh, absolutely. We can get along. As obviously, everybody wants to win for sure, especially if you're a Laker fan. But also, you got to be intelligent about it. Again, and I made this argument earlier. People want us just to give away those 2 draft picks. We have to think about it on the other side of the spectrum. What happens if a player what happens if Kyrie doesn't work out in Brooklyn and all of a sudden we have no draft picks to trade or nothing, right? We're going to be like kicking ourselves in the head because, oh, man, we shouldn't have did that trade, especially if it didn't work out, right? So I think the Lakers are trying to be patient, see what they got first, and then we go from there. And then that's probably what they promised LeBron, to be honest with you. Because the fact that LeBron is on board, he must be a part of the master plan. He's never not been, right? So let's see what happens. I'm going to try to remain optimistic. Listen, we haven't seen the Lakers. I'm excited to watch our Lakers, aren't you? And I'm sure everybody else in the chat, whether you're a Laker fan or not, you're excited for the season because everybody's starting off with a clean slate, 0-0. And you never know what could happen in the NBA. You never know what kind of season your team could start off with. So let's see, man. Lakers Media Day is coming up on Monday, so I look forward to that. Lily Murphy just updated us. Shout out to her. She said Lakers Media Day starts Monday morning at 10 a.m., guys. Just a reminder, Laker Nation, go Lakers. Shout out to Lily. Thanks for the update. Thanks for the reminder. Yes. Media Day is around the corner. And by the way, I will be doing a live stream here Monday after Media Day to give my thoughts on everything that was spoken. And so I can't wait for that. But if anybody has any questions, again, this is Around the League Thursdays. Usually we always gravitate back to Lakers basketball. That's how passionate we are. But I do want to give an opportunity for other fans to speak up if they have questions about their team or whatnot. I do want to talk about switching topics real quick. I want to talk about Ben Simmons, all right? Recently, Ben Simmons said in an interview published Thursday that he just wanted help during his time with the Philadelphia 76ers and that many within the organization didn't support him as he struggled with his mental health. Ooh, that's not a good look for that 76er team. And I've always said I'm not a big fan of Doc Rivers' coaching style. He's not very caring with the players. He doesn't really care. He kind of throws them under the bus. He said, and this is what Ben Simmons said, and I quote, I was in such a bad place where I was like, fuck. I'm trying to get here, and you guys are like throwing all these other things at me to where you're not helping. And that's all I wanted, he said, was help. Simmons told the former 76ers JJ Redick on the old Man and the 3 podcast. I guess that's the name of his podcast. So that's tough. Listen, Ben Simmons has been the butt of the jokes. Okay. I feel bad for the guy. If he really went through mental health, everybody who made fun of him he deserves an apology. If he really was going through mental health, we don't know. Everybody thought it was just an excuse because he didn't want to play for Doc Rivers no more. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of pressure, man. Especially the higher you climb in your profession, the more pressure. So, hopefully, if it is real, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I feel bad for Ben Simmons, and it's tough, man. If they really didn't give him that support, it's no wonder he didn't want to be there. So, very understandable there. What's up, Alexis? What's up, brother? Doc was too busy on Twitter liking. Oh my God, man. He said he was liking down bad. I'm not even gonna repeat that. My man. He said people love to clown on Rob, but he did the right thing by not giving up those picks. I do agree with that. He said people cheat every day, bro. Why is this news? Because it happened. I guess it happened in the workplace. I guess that's why they brought it to the light, but it still should have been kept under wraps, to be honest with you. I think it's extremely embarrassing for everybody involved, from the assistant to the coach to, the fiance, to everybody. So, yeah, that should have for sure been kept under wraps. But I will be answering questions now. If you guys have any, man, I'm all ears. Shoot your shot. He said, hey, Dan, the Bucks making any more moves? Jordan Clarkson? That would be a great, listen, Jordan Clarkson would be a nice addition to the Milwaukee Bucks. So if he goes anywhere, I hope it's to you guys, because I do like the Bucks. I mean, how could you not? Giannis is one of the most likable superstars. So, good luck with that. That would be a nice acquisition for you guys. You have a lot of length and stuff. You could always use another scoring guard off the bench, and can give you some very valuable minutes when Giannis and Chris Middleton go to the bench and Drew Holiday. So I think Jordan Clarkson would actually be a good fit. He could even start some games for you guys at the shooting guard position, right? He said, Buddy and Miles are worth the picks. Well, I mean, that's debatable. Like I said, it's debatable. Some people believe so. Some of us do not. Do you think the pressure got to Russ last year is why he did so bad? Then how is he going to do this year? Because he'll have it even worse. Because he isn't a top 5 guard on this roster. Wow, he's not a top 5 guard. That's tough. I do think the pressure got to him coming back playing for his hometown. I think he thought it was going to be all sweet, and he found out real quick that it was not. Real quick. So, yeah, I do think it's going to be a lot of pressure. Let's hope he can beat the pressure, though. As long as he's a Laker, listen, I'm not no Russell Westbrook hater. As long as he's a Laker, I'll root for him. I'll be hard on him when he plays like a knucklehead. That's for sure. But, as long as he's a Laker, I'll root for him and anybody else, including Dennis, who I'm not a fan of. Unless he comes off the bench and he embraces his role. Same thing with Patrick Beverley. I wasn't a fan of his before he showed up, but I'm rooting for all these guys, and let's just hope they do good, man. That's it. My boy Eric said, what's good, Dan? I'm more optimistic about the Lakers this year. Also, would you put Pat at the 1 and Russ at the 2 starting? Hey, I'm glad you're optimistic, bro. I'm pretty optimistic as well. I do like the youth movement in which we're moving in, and of course, I'm very excited to watch head coach Darvin Ham and how he reacts to all these situations and all these scenarios. As far as Russ, I would not start him at all. I'd bring him off the bench, and I'd put Austin Reeves at the 2. I want Darvin Ham to live up to the hype. He's a defensive-minded coach, so play defensive-minded players around LeBron and AD. And that would be Thomas at the 5, Austin Reeves at the 2, Patrick Beverley at the 1. Just my opinion. But I am curious to see what he comes out with. He might come out with something we completely never saw coming. Do you see us going back to Utah about Clarkson, Beasley, Conley, and Vanderbilt? Potentially, but I just the Conley deal is probably what turns the Lakers off. Not only do we have to give up draft pick, but we have to take on a bad contract like Mike Conley, who's also been injury plagued. And the last thing we want is more guards, especially ones with a lengthy timeline on their deal. And to trade Russell Westbrook, you have to include Conley in almost any deal. Dan, do you think the Lakers beat the Clippers on that second game? Yes, sir. I always believe in my team, man, especially over the stinkers. Ain't nobody worried about them. Listen. That's the biggest pretend team in the history of sports. They pretend every year they're going to do something only to choke in the second round of the playoffs per usual, if they even get there. So, I look forward to seeing their demise, and hopefully we rise to the occasion and we smack them around a little bit and send them back to San Diego. Dan, rank these rosters: Celtics, Clippers, Lakers, Cavs. Okay, as they're constructed right now, I'm going to go the Ime Udoka thing is going to make me put the Celtics in second place, okay? I was going to put them first, obviously, because I like their players. Don't like the franchise, and I hate them. but their players are good. So objectively speaking, I'll put them second. The Cavs I'm gonna put first. I think they won the offseason. So I'm gonna put the Cavs in first place. They land Donovan Mitchell. They had a nice 25 and under starting lineup, man. Can't wait to see them. I'll put the Lakers in third place, just based off just the way we are. We're a big question mark. Tons of guards. We don't know about the new coaching schemes yet. None of that. And then I'll put the Clippers in fourth because everybody knows they're not for real. Every year you have ESPN and Fox saying, "Oh, watch out for the Clippers." Listen, man, we've seen this movie, and it always ends with everybody dying at the end, man. It's like a horror movie, the Clippers. So, I mean, it's up to y'all if y'all want to buy the hype on the Clippers. Yeah, they acquired John Wall. What else? What else is new? He said, smash that like button, Laker Nation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any questions are welcome, though. Any team. He said, would Jay Crowder benefit the Grizzlies? You know what? I could see a veteran definitely fitting in with that young core, like Jay Crowder. Even though I'm not a fan, he's an effective player. So, yeah, I can see him benefiting the Grizzlies. Good question, y'all. Good question. I like Grizzlies fans in the chat. That's what's up. He said, Dan, do you think Bronny is good? I'm not saying he mirrors his dad, but he's got pop in him for being a lot shorter. I don't listen. I can't make that assessment. I really only watch highlights, and you know, me being somewhat of a good scout, I don't like to give takes based off of highlights, right? And highlights, anybody could look good, right? You could throw Brian Scalabrine out there and make a highlight film tape of him, right, when he was in his prime. So I got to see more of him before I answer that question, but I wish him the best. I love young talent, and I always root for the youngsters, man. Shout out to my nephew who got a couple games this weekend. So very excited to go watch him play live. Camille says, do you agree? I kind of feel like if you are accepting the Lakers not doing a trade and keeping the picks, do you really have the right to complain about Russ playing bad or the team losing by 20? I disagree. I think we have a right to complain about anything. I mean, we buy the merch, we pay to watch on cable, we pay to watch in person at crypto. We fans are going to complain always, especially the more passionate you are about your team, the more you're probably going to complain. Now, there's some of those fans that are a little bit more optimistic than others, but in general, complain equals caring. Caring equals you love your team and you're passionate, and you're passionate means you're a diehard fan. So if you're a diehard fan and Russell Westbrook comes out missing 20 layups a game, the whole world should be complaining. His own wife should complain, not let him in the house if he plays like he did last year. Just a joke. But bottom line, yes, anybody should have the right to complain. Now, not wanting to get ripped off is different than not wanting Westbrook traded. Listen, I wanted Westbrook traded from the moment he started playing like he did last year. I thought at the trade deadline he would get shipped off. But I still don't want us to get fleeced. That's the difference. Trading Westbrook in a fair trade, we gave up a first-round pick to trade him. Now they want 2 first-round picks for us to offload him. That would be a total of 3 first-round picks that you offloaded from your team just to, give this man a little runaround. Like, think about that. That is all bad. So we got to be intelligent as fans. I understand that some of us might disagree. Some people just say, trade him at all costs. And I get that. But the cost is expensive. Like, it's like going to McDonald's and paying $20 for a $1 menu burger. That's what people are trying to. They're trying to sell us a value meal at $19.99 for a limited, and then they have the audacity to put for a limited time. Like, take your limited time bullshit out of here. Like, we don't want that deal. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just gotta be patient and take our ass over to Wendy's and get that real deal. If you know what I mean. If it makes sense, the hood knows what I'm talking about. Right? Nobody likes to get ripped off, especially if you love basketball and you love your team. So that's my only thing. So I'll agree to disagree with you, Camille, but I love the questions. Keep them rolling. Do you think Westbrook will benefit playing a dunker spot position instead of having a full playmaker responsibility? What do you mean a dunker spot position? Are we talking as a slasher primarily? Is that what we're talking about? Like a 2-guard? Is that what you mean? Yeah, because I've heard this term recently. Now, I'm not sure if this is a 2K term, but dunker spot, I'd never heard of that before this month. So I'm wondering what that question is. I'm very curious. I don't care everything about the Clippers. They don't have nothing. That's right. That's the right mentality right there if you're a Laker fan. We don't care. We don't care. Raiders or Titans this week? Ooh, I think the Raiders going to bounce back. I'm not a Raider fan or a Titans fan, but I think the Raiders bounce back for sure. He said 3 first round picks like that, you have to fire the GM. I do agree with that. Tony White says, "Tell LeBron to play defense this year." I would if I had access to him, but yeah, LeBron don't listen to diehard fans like me, man. LeBron is he has his own circle he listens to, and that's that. That's I mean, he has a right to. He's a superstar, so. Dan, he means Russ would stand underneath the basket and look out for opportunities as guards penetrate. Is that what a dunker spot means? Nah. Yeah, I don't want him clogging up the lane. I'd rather have him coming off the bench and just playing however he wants. However, you're able to minimize his mistakes because he's going up against second units, and that's much better than going up against first units. Imagine we opening night, right? We're playing against the Golden State Warriors. Do I really want Russell Westbrook handling the ball, potentially turning it over, and then leading to transition, wide open threes from Clay, Curry, and sometimes Wiggins? I don't think so, right? So that's the main reason I don't really want him to, to be a starter on this team. It's just his inability to be self-aware and understand that, hey, listen, bro, you're not OKC Thunder Russ anymore. If Russ comes in with that attitude last year, God help us all. But I expect Russ knows in 2023, make it or break it for his future career. Well, let's hope so, man. For everybody's sake, for his own sake as well. Shout out to Arthur for the Cash App, bro. Always coming through with the Cash App. He said, the money will be available in your Cash App shortly. Wait, what? Hold up. I'm sure that wasn't a message. I'll try to find it, bro. He said, Dan, do you think Nia Long is still bad even at 51? Listen, man. Listen, all I got to say about that, and I don't want to get into that because I have a girlfriend and all that out of respect for her, I won't be rating women, all right? But I'll say this. Anybody can get cheated on, unfortunately. That's the life. That's the world we live in, right? And it's not about is she bad or not. That should never be the conversation. The conversation should be, what can people do to prevent that from happening? That's the better conversation. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that it happened to anyone. I don't care if it's a celebrity or just a regular person, but I think it's kind of inappropriate that we're having, is she still bad at 51, bro? It's not for me to say. That's not my fiance. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say that if that answers your question. Hopefully, you're not mad at my response, but yeah, that's how I feel about that. Steve my boy Sal, thanks so much for the super chat, bro. Says Steve Ballmer is about to sell the Clippers after they flop this season and buy the Suns next. You know what? I've been hearing some crazy shit about the Suns potentially selling. The Suns potentially selling to what was his name again? Oh my goodness, my former boss. I used to work for Amazon. What was his name? I forgot the guy's name already, man. The richest man in the world. I forgot his name. I can't believe it. But yeah, basically, the Suns might be sold to him. So that would be crazy. The last thing we want as an NBA fans is for Jeff Bezos. Thank you. That guy. That creep. All right. The last thing we want is for the NBA to be or an NBA team to be bought by the richest man in the world. Now we're not going to know who the commissioner is. I made this joke last night because they kind of look like each other. They're both bald and stuff. Commissioner Adam Silver and Jeff Bezos. But in reality, like, who's really going to run the league if the richest man is this should be a basketball reasons. No, we're not selling you the team for basketball reasons type of situation. That's what it should be. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy that he wants to buy the team and everybody should be afraid. Even Steve Ballmer doesn't hold a candle to Jeff Bezos if he buys the team. So, yeah, there's that. He said Russ can stay home and watch the games from his couch. It's just not going to happen. Listen, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, guys. To send somebody home that makes $47 million, there's going to be a lot of question marks if that happens. I just don't see it happening. If it did happen, that would be like they would have some cojones. If that does happen, I would say, whoa, the front office don't give a damn. Like they're really just trying to win. So, but I just don't foresee that happening because it makes everybody look bad. It makes the Lakers look bad for trading for him. It makes the Lakers look bad for benching him. And obviously the players are going to speak up. There's a buddy league. So they're all going to speak up and say, oh, the Lakers did him dirty and blah, blah. It's going to give us a bad name. So, yeah, the Lakers not going to do that, man. So the Lakers not going to do it. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. He said, oh, we just got an update. So I guess that mini camp picture that was circulating around the web was fake. So that is crazy, man. I guess a Russ stand made the pictures up, and it was tweeted to me, so I thought it was legit. But shout out for y'all for letting me know. Yeah, it was fake. They are in training camp in San Diego. It started officially today, but there's no pictures surfacing or nothing like that. Though I guess, and it looked kind of photoshopped too, but I guess I didn't question it. Sleeper team in the West is the Pelicans and the Rockets. I'll give you the Pelicans. I'll give you the Pelicans because of the Houston Rockets are still extremely young and they're learning. Jalen Green, though, is one of my favorite young players. And I can't wait to see what their number 3 overall pick does. So those are two fun teams to watch. The Pelicans more so, man. They get Zion back. They actually made the postseason last year. They got a ton of good role players, man. And obviously Brandon Ingram is taking that leap. The real question is going to be, can Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson coexist? Because if they can't, don't be shocked if Zion, gets put on the trading block, and then that would be crazy. That would be crazy at some point. Maybe not this year, but maybe next summer or the year after that. Although I do believe they will be able to coexist, and it'll be an extremely fun team to watch. So I look forward to it. He said, when we had Smush Parker and them bad Lakers teams with Kobe, we didn't say get rid of Kobe. Then were some bad Lakers teams, but we want to talk about Russ in 1 year. Bro, Tony, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. Russell Westbrook is not no Kobe Bryant. And that's part of the problem. I don't think his fans know that, and I don't think Russell Westbrook knows that because he keeps jacking up shots when he's 1 for 15. So, yeah, you just kind of made my point right there. Don't compare Russ to Kobe. That's just you're reaching, my man. You are reaching. LeBron's mini camp is Friday through Sunday. Westbrook's store opening is Saturday. Am I being messy? Curious timing. You know what? This is what I love about the internet, okay? Everybody speculates, and we're going to sit here and speculate until we get some answers. But the beautiful part is we're going to get some real answers. Training camp is around the corner. Media day is this Monday. So we got to stay tuned for that, and I can't wait to break it all down. Hope Russ gets with the program and accepts his role. I agree, too. Your Massacre 019, I agree. That needs to happen. If that can happen, then maybe we'll be singing a different tune during the season, right? But... And my bad, I didn't mean to get everybody to attack Tony. I'm just saying, like, that was outlandish. Like, that is not going to help you prove a point by saying, that statement. You said, I will not repeat it. Russ has to buy in this year. He might be out of the league if Russ had a bad year. Who is going to sign him for more than the minimum next year? Well, maybe the only reason I can see that if he doesn't play good, maybe he was already planning on retiring. Who knows? But other than that, you're right. If he wants to have another opportunity on some other team next year, because it's not going to be the Lakers. I will be damned if the Lakers give him a contract extension. I will go crazy. I will literally go in. But if he doesn't play well, I do agree. The only problem is that everybody, his whole family, his friends are telling him he's still great, and they're not bringing him back down to reality. Sometimes you need people you love to tell you the truth and be like, listen, man, you had a great run. You've been amazing. Now it's time to compete for a title. And take the back seat to LeBron and AD. Let them do the scoring and all that, and you just chime in here and there wherever you can, right? That should be what his family members are telling him. If they truly, truly, truly care for him, that should be, what they're saying to my man Russell Westbrook. Give me 1 second, bro. For some reason, Cash App is acting up, man. It's not letting me read your guys' messages you guys have sent. So give me 1 second with that, and we'll go for. All right, here we go. So my boy Joseph said, thanks for the Cash App, bro. He said, for no way we going into the season with so much guards. My boy Arthur said, for Ainge, didn't like offers, so he didn't do that from spite. Yeah, Danny Ainge was always trying to screw over the Lakers. I agree, Art. And it's really discouraging when you got teams that don't deal in good faith. But you know what? Lakers have always found a way around that. Always. Right? So... He said, Tony just exposed himself as a Russ stan. Go fishing with him. Listen, man, and Russ stands, man. Y'all have to understand that you only make your favorite player look worse. We're Laker fans. We don't defend our star players when they play bad. We call them out, and that's okay. Ain't nobody saying Russ hasn't had a Hall of Fame career. He's not a multi-time All-Star, and he's not a top 75 player. Nobody's saying that. you're overreacting a little bit. Okay, if we were saying that, then okay, come aggressive and attack us on the chats. But all we're saying is Russ is not the same Russ he used to be. It happens to everybody. It happened to Kobe, my favorite player of all time. Where after unfortunately after the Achilles injuries, he was never the same. But we were able to see his game decline, and you have to admit when Father Time is undefeated. Same with Russ. The only problem we have with Russ is he's not self-aware, and it looks like neither are his fans. So that's part of the problem as well. As long as y'all keep gassing him up like that, he's gonna believe it. And that is a huge issue. Russ is going to be the best player for the Lakers this year, Dan. I predict that. You think so, Liz? I hope you're right, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But I hope you're right. I hope not only is he the best player, but the key here is efficiency. That's what we need. We don't need the best. We need efficient. We need a Russ that doesn't turn the ball over. We need a Russ that, buys into his role. Laker lady, homegirl says, Kobe brought rings. Russ brings sorrow. Ouch. Not one lie detected there. But all right, guys. Hey, man, it was fun. It was a fun Around the League Thursdays. We covered a vast majority of topics. We got to talk a little bit about the Celtics, the age limit. We talked about some of these trade proposals and, the trades that didn't happen. Shout out to the Pistons. They got a good one. So pretty much, look, listen, it's about to get real. So lock in, Laker fans. We're about to find out the answers to all these questions that we have been asking. All right. And I can't wait to get more in depth this season, all season long, pre-post game, breaking news, all this stuff. We're going to break it all down this year. But this segment is here to stay because I've had fun talking about the league as a whole. So if you guys enjoy it, whether you're a Laker fan or not, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and hit that post noti bell because, man, it's about to get real. Starting with Monday, the pressers, man, the press conference they're gonna be so interesting to see who's there, their body language, all of that, man. I can't wait to break it all down. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Another successful week of Around the League Thursdays, and we're gonna keep this going year round. So I can't wait till the season starts. We talk about power rankings and all that. By the way, before I go, Anthony Davis. In the power rankings, I think it was ESPN, if I'm not mistaken, they put him at 20. They put Rudy Gobert over him at 18, I think. And they put Karl Anthony Towns at top 13. Over Anthony Davis at 20. Let that sink into how they disrespect us, Laker Nation. And I hope Anthony Davis was watching and just, keeping all these receipts because I'm going to need him to come out like a man possessed. He needs to come out here aggressively and destroy the opposition this year. And, he can make sure that all these rankings, they could just stick those where the sun don't shine. So I look forward to this season, man. It's going to be a good year, Laker Nation. No matter what, it's always interesting. We are family. We are Lakers. And I look forward to breaking it all down. Thank you, guys. See you guys on the next one, all right? Peace.